Hi guys, welcome to Nine's Corner. I hope you're feeling well. And I've been left to my own for the last few days. My hubby's out of town, so I've had to take up some of the slack around here. Have a gander. This is a video I sent to him. I know you said don't go over the stairs, but what do? Go over the stairs. But I's okay. I'm doing okay. Bunch of them in there too. All right, let's go back. Come on. Up the hill. Yes, you are. Come on now. Up. Let's go. If I stop, I might not get going again. Oh. Having a hill with a dozen eggs in your hand is not easy. Ooh. We're almost there. I think I can. I did do it. So meantime in Canada, oh Canada, we have the Freedom Convoy, and it has been making zero news. It's like you're hearing about them through them. You're hearing about them through other people's Facebook, but the media coverage is not very strong. And that which what they were saying is just saying, you know, they are the fringe. And there's a certain part of that's true, because there's almost 80% of Canadians that are vaccinated. And I do not wish to be, to give an anti-vaxxing opinion or anything of that nature. I'm fully vaccinated myself. But it seems to me that Trudeau and the government are just kind of like, you know what? That's, 20% of the population. We're going to ignore this and hope it goes away. But then there's the other side of the coin that, hold on now. They are saying that these vaccine mandates. Now, I want to really ensure that people realize I am not anti-vax. I'm fully vaccinated. I believe that we have to take care of each other, but I also believe that the government has to be held accountable. I believe the government has to be held to be transparent, and that the anti-vax mandate or the vaccine mandate has been found to go against our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and that it's important to keep the government transparent. And the question is, where is Justin? Why isn't he talking? Because if there's one Canadian that has an issue, then the Prime Minister should be there. And these have been really peaceful. Overall, they've been peaceful. There's been a few little incidences here and there, but overall, it's been very peaceful. And there's been a lot of support and a lot of growing support because, we have the right, and we have more than the right. We have the responsibility to ensure that our government is being held accountable, and that, there's a slippery slope when you let the government start mandating everything that you're allowed to do, even if it's something as important as COVID and vaccines and all that kind of stuff. People have the right to talk and to have a conversation and to not take that into their lives. Whatever those consequences of that will be, that's up to society. But, there's a conversation that's having, and I said this in my previous reading about this, that this has less to do with vaccines. Not to say it is, obviously, but I mean to say that I think this has become an anti-Trudeau. I think people are feeling the weight of the last 2 years and being told, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, losing jobs, losing family, losing loved ones and not being able to see them. The frustration has finally come out and people are frustrated. And now you have farmers joining the convoy. You have other interest groups who are not feeling listened to by the government. And, Canada, like every other place in this world, is feeling the effects of the change. And, there is a vibrational change, whether you want to believe it or not. And in order for that change to happen, we have to break down the old ways of things, how they've been, to match up to the new way of things. And that in itself is part of the reason that we're having this peaceful protest, because whether or not it is directed on the vaccine 20% got the conversation going about the farmers, and people are feeling frustrated and they feel like they don't have a voice with the government. And I'm just like, Justin Trudeau needs to get out and get ahead of this and speak about it, because he has an obligation to every Canadian to speak and to be heard and to listen. So, if Justin Trudeau is not careful, and this is really starting to have some push, even if it's not in the mainstream media, if Justin doesn't get ahead of this and try to talk and at least appear to be listening, then, who knows, they might say, hey, Justin, we need to have a vote of confidence if we think that you're able to control things, because like we said before, they got a plan and Justin shouldn't ignore them. So let's just do let's just do a deep dive into what's going on, what's possibly going to happen, what can we see for the future, what's happening with Justin Trudeau. Let's ask Taro some of the tough questions and say, come on, now let me know what's happening with Canada. They're trying to raise money, but they're not allowed to use it. So that's going to be another thing that's going on. And, they had here in Alberta, the high schools in Edmonton, there was a couple of them that the students walked out. And that's the only thing, like, I worry about public safety, about students walking out and all that. I mean, I realize we got to fight for our rights, and I'm just looking at the overall picture. And now they're talking about the police getting involved. And yet I'm hearing stories about the police actually going and helping people out and giving them coffee. And so on the one hand, there's this kind of question mark as to what is the purpose of this? Where is this going? Is Trudeau going to listen to it? Where is Trudeau? And, I guess at the end of the day, is this going to start affecting others? Is this going to be something more come of it? Where is it going? Let's have a look. Okay. So the Star, this is going to have further reach. It's going to continue. It's not going to stop. And I got to tell you, I lived in Ottawa for over 10 years and it is cold. So for those people who be out there, you've got to be like really driven and dressed warm in order to be able to survive it. And even in Alberta, like, oh my God. So here it is. This is the hope. There's a lot of support because people are proud to be Canadian. They're proud that we're seeing peaceful protests. And Canadians have not had a voice. They've had to kowtow to the government for the last 2 years. And whether it's for your good or not, people are frustrated, their economy, their lives. I mean, we're all kind of teetering on where are we going? What's this going to become? But I can guarantee you there's a lot of hopes, a lot of people putting their hopes into this. This is going to extend past Canada, and you're going to see support for it. This is going to have a forward momentum. Okay, lack of money, lack of support. Trudeau is not coming to the table right now. That's what's going against them. The more people they get joining, the more people they get speaking up, the better. But they're getting sidelined by the media. They're getting sidelined by our political people. So underneath it all, this is the Empress. People want to expand. They want to get out of their house. They're tired of the delays. They want to move on. We've got the Nine of Cups. You know, when people feel that the government are doing too much, when the people feel that the government are infringing on our rights, there's this really slippery slope of what's best for you and then having the right. I mean, imagine if they said, oh, you know, it is in your best interest to get a chip and it will protect you from XYZ. You know, like it could become crazy if we don't have this kind of pushback. And the government has been taking over. The government has had full reign for a while. And it's not been to our best. It's been to some of our detriment because money, our livelihoods, our futures. And not even just that. I mean, Mother Nature is having a field day because we haven't been listening to her. Oh. On top of it, unfortunately, shit. Ooh, sorry. Sugar. I think there's some bad characters that are looking to make money out of this. There's a groundswell of people that, you know, are doing it for the right reasons, but then there's a group of them that are doing it for the prestige. They're doing it for the money. They're doing it for the power. And, you know, this has positive and negative. It's positive to push the government to be transparent, but it is also negative when somebody all of a sudden becomes powerful, because then, you know, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So we got to be really careful about pushing back on both sides. Ooh, Nine of Wands, a lot of stress, a lot of worry. People are just frustrated. So they're frustrated with the government. They feel the weight of the government. They feel the weight of the regulations that have been put on us. It puts a big strain on our lives, our lifestyles, our money, our socialization. I mean, people have lost loved ones and haven't been in the room to hold their hand. I mean, I think, and I've said this in a previous reading before, that one of the things that we're going to look back at this time, the cruelty of letting people die on their own. Okay, so there's a lot of movement, a lot of fast movement. They need to get on top of this while this is happening so they can have the momentum. Go with the momentum, push the momentum, get the conversation going. The more people that get pushed, the more that you're going to have your government having to say something. Here is the government, here's the Justin Trudeau, and they're keeping a cap on what they're going to say. They are going to try to delay this. They're going to try to cause delays. They're going to add to the stress. He's going to not want to have a conversation. He's hoping by, if we ignore this, this will go away. It's hard because for the people that are out there, it is a time of wanting to defend themselves, but the nightmare of the stress, the worry, and the economic breakdown, the job losses, the mental strain that's on people. I mean, it's becoming particularly hard. So by the government not talking, it's just making things more difficult. And people are hurting. That's the end result. What? Why do we have the devil here? Why at the end of it? Okay. Devil, devil, devil. Sugar and spice. There are good intentions going into this, but then at the same time, there's some really negative intentions happening here. Oh, God, it's like anything else. It stops being about the core and it ends up being about so much more. And people get prideful, people get powerful, people get greedy. So this is going to be a worry. This is also pressure being put on people that the government are going to say, no, these are the mandates. They're not going to push back. And the reality is that money being made on this, like, oh my God, help me. When I say that, I mean money being made on COVID, money being made on this whole enchilada. There is the need to weigh out livelihood with people's need for socialization, for people's need to protect their freedoms, for people's need to say, hey, you don't have the right to come in on my personal body. Like, it's such a complicated, difficult situation, but the devil's here. So the devil's in the details. And there's also, a part of this where, you know what, I'm just going to say it, that part of COVID, I believe, is a man-made thing, and man-made is being made out of it. So anything that brings some acknowledgement to what's going on, I think the time of fear is a time of people having to kowtow to the government because we really don't have a voice. There's that, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about the government having such a say when it comes to vaccinations? Even if you're pro-vaccination, do you believe in people's rights to not get vaccinated? Do you know what I mean? It's such a loaded question, but what worries me is that there was a lot of powerful, money-making, devil following negativity in that reading. Let's look at Justin Trudeau. Justin, are you going to talk? Are you going to get in trouble over this? Because, if you lose people's confidence, it will be very quick for people to be like, come on now, let's get rid of them. Justin, what is going on with you? Sorry, guys, that's me being a lazy shuffler. I just like to know, Justin Trudeau, what is going on with you? Are you going to talk? Are you going to acknowledge? And just saying that Justin is all, equal and fair and talk about everybody else to say, hey, they should be doing this, that, and the other thing, and now we're being ignored. Even if it is the fringe group, it's a fringe group of Canadians. So he has a responsibility to speak out. That's what bothers me. Justin. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. So Justin is trying to weigh out the situation. He's trying to delay things until he says anything because he is looking at his reputation, his situation. He's worried, he's stressed. And with the Hermit, there's this feeling of him being like, I know better than you know. I'm doing this for the best interest of anybody. But then when you look at the Hermit, there's a prideful, doing it for myself, for my own success, not doing it for people. It's like when it's good for you, it's good for you. But then, where are you now? And there's a reason why he's staying. He's worried. He's stressed out. This is causing him stress. Obviously, there's a health issue. He is so worried about his reputation, about him having to walk away, about this affecting him, that it has less to do with him being worried about Canada and more about him being worried about himself, because it's all very selfish, and this is him thinking about himself, his situation. He is hoping that by delaying that he'll be successful in, letting the waters calm down by themselves. But then this is also, delay but eventual conversation, delay but eventual having to look at it. There's going to be a conversation. Something, he will put out the olive branch. He'll be forced to. He has another choice. Whether you like Justin Trudeau or not, I'm just telling you what the cards are saying without any personal agenda. There has been some sneaky BS behind closed doors that's happened here in Canada. There's been money made, and they just really want for people, just do as we say. They don't want things being looked at. There's some personal stuff happening here. You tell me that we're not dealing with some sly stuff happening behind the scenes. Not, this is like, listen, I'm just going to back up here. I'm sick, because they're trying to figure out, how do we get away with this? They're trying to figure out, there's more to this. They don't want the truth to come out. They don't want the truth to come out about our Prime Minister, about Trudeau. Here's the star. Here's the expansion. There is more to this, guys. Holy sugar. We got the Tower. Trudeau. My son. If anybody knows Justin Trudeau, tell him that, this little nobody tarot card reader has told him, get his butt in gear and get out ahead of this. You are in trouble. You've got some kind, like Canada has some coming up. There's been some financial stuff that's going to come out. And you know what? I think there's a part of Trudeau that's worried that once he's out, once he's gone, somebody's going to be able to review the numbers and say, hold on now, where did this go to? Why are all these companies benefiting? Holy moly, Tower. Queen of Swords, we're going to be hearing, yeah, we're right. We're right. I think we're going to be hearing about some information. It's going to have to deal with planning, dark money. I mean, that's enough. The tarot has told me. So Justin is being quiet, but there's something more coming down the pike. There's something he's done that he's worried that's going to come out. They're doing the planning. They're trying to figure out. But is this Tower? Oh, Lord, help us. I'm telling you, you saw. Outcome was, you've deceived us. They're worried about the truth coming out. We're going to hear more about information coming out from different places and being called out. Hey, you're such a feminist. You're such a this. You're such a that. Well, now it's your turn to do your part and your responsibility. If not, Justin, and I don't, you know what, when the Tower shows up, there's this, especially in this kind of a reading, especially now we got the Queen of Swords coming out right after it. The Tower is like, look, whether you want it or not, something's going to occur and it's going to change up your life. For the good or for the bad, it always ends up, oftentimes being blessings in disguise. Well, Canada. Oh, Canada. We're going to have to follow the news to see what's going to come of this. I think Justin Trudeau might be in for some some difficult times if he doesn't get out ahead of this and start talking. And I mean, they might decide, you know what, we don't have confidence in you anymore. And if he's not willing to speak on all Canadians' behalf, that could be a result of it. You know what I'm saying? Alrighty. Very interesting read. I want to just check in with it because it is a big deal. It makes you... I'm just so proud of the push, the wanting for transparency, the want to hold up our rights as Canadians to be able to peacefully gather and do all those things. And, you know, if it is coming across to others to say, hey, we do have a right to speak. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to be on one side or the other. Get to the table to at least have the conversation. So let's go, Canada. Let's go. All right. I hope you enjoyed our little reading. And as always, I have our unity candle lit for each and every one of us. And until the next time we speak, cheerio, my darlings. Take care.